Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. We got here in this video one of those examples of the SNP coming up with a really brilliant idea, which obviously isn't really brilliant at all, but it's one that's so bad that they can announce it, and then before it's implemented, they cancel it because they realise, first of all, it's completely unworkable, and secondly, it's completely unaffordable. But it sounds good when you're announcing it, and I suppose you announce it to a big fanfare, but then you cancel it, ever so quietly, in the hope that nobody notices that it isn't going to happen. Of course, the trouble is, everybody notices. And this is one of those events where it is a cancelled policy because they're just a bunch of morons. Let's have a look at this to see why a flagship anti-poverty initiative has had to be very quietly scrapped because of the ineptitude of all those concerned. Here goes. Now, to be honest, we don't expect much from the SNP. We know they are a party of absolute morons. Everything they announce fails at some point or another, or is DOA, or is just rubbish. This is because, of course, they lack any kind of ability to foresee the consequences of what they do. They like the sound of announcing things, but then when it comes to the nitty-gritty and the details, they realise they're completely out of their depth. And this is true for most of them, but it is never more true than for Shirley-Anne Somerville, a woman who makes Shona Robinson look like a towering intellect, like a world-class genius, like someone with deep understanding and intelligence. And Shona Robinson's got an IQ of 86. How bad and dim is Shirley-Anne Somerville? Well, pretty much awful. Anyway, the SNP announced flagship anti-poverty measure without prior planning and forced it to scrap it just a year later. Was anybody surprised? Hey, look at this, everybody. Big fanfare. Da, 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 da. We have this. We haven't thought about it. We haven't costed it. We don't know what we're doing with it. And now we're scrapping it. Because Shirley-Anne Somerville, ladies and gentlemen, a woman who is not as intelligent as my schnauzer. The Scottish Government were quick to announce plans to offer money to help unemployed parents get into work, but did not consider the implications with Westminster. Didn't consider the implications? That's not like the SNP, is it? Imagine them just going out and doing things without a moment's consideration or thought, or working out any of the details. It's not as though there's a history of that. It's never happened before, has it? I mean, this is all the time. This is why the party is so bad and such a failure at every single thing it ever does. Anyway, the SNP government announced a flagship plan to help battle child poverty. Child poverty, which it must be said, they have created. In the 17 years of the SNP government, child poverty has boomed. It's the only thing that has boomed under the SNP. Anyway, it failed to find out whether they could actually implement it. I mean, this is staggering, isn't it? This is base level staggering. Ministers pledged to create a £15 million parental transition fund in 2022, but they scrapped it just a year later. Bless. I wonder why. Is it because they did this and didn't think, can we do this? Are we able to do this? Do we have someone intelligent enough to do this? Obviously, the last one's definitely no. I mean, let's face it, Shirley-Anne Somerville, she's hanging on to the bottom rung of the moron ladder, isn't she? And one step down, she's in the realm of cretin. Anyway, we previously told how they were blasted by charities who had helped the administration come up with the idea before it was quietly dropped in June 2023. The announcement that it had been axed was not made public because, it's oh so quiet. It wasn't until Scottish Labour asked about it. Well done, Jackie Bailey. It would have supplied funding for parents to get their children looked after while they were attending job interviews or attempting to find employment. But now the Scottish Daily Express can reveal that the idea was poleaxed due to issues with the UK government, which the SNP executive failed to clear before they made the big announcement. So you can't be blaming Westminster if you never spoke to them and said, look, this is what we're planning to do. Is it within our remit, etc.? What is wrong with these people, apart from the obvious, the very, very low IQ? The Parental Transition Fund was included in their March 2022 publication, Best Start, Bright Futures, Tackling Child Poverty Delivery Plan 2022 to 2026, big title. And to be honest, they have they have tackled child poverty. They've made good on their promise. They have increased child poverty tenfold, and well done to them for destroying so many lives with every single policy they ever come up with. In a briefing note prepared for Social Justice Secretary Shirley-Anne, the party's official moron, they have many, but she's the official one. She wears the crown on that empty boing head of hers. Officials confirmed that they only went to the UK government about funding for this project in October 22. They asked for consideration of proposed grant to help us with upfront childcare costs. But they were told that there were significant challenges with reserved tax and benefit rules. HMRC confirmed grants explicitly linked to starting employment would be subject to income tax and national insurance contributions. There you go. Had they sort of said this and worked this out before they announced it, it may have changed things. But that's not the SNP way. They need the good press. We need to announce something, make people feel good, make people think we care, make people think we're effective, make people think we know what the hell we're doing. And of course, they don't. Meanwhile, the Department for Work and Pensions confirmed that where childcare costs are paid by anyone other than the individual, these costs could not be reclaimed through universal credit. In layman's terms, this means that the income would cause problems with how much you're awarded in benefits. What this means is, hey, we're going to help you. Here's £20 towards your childcare costs. Meanwhile, then, the universal benefit will just take the £20 back because you got that money. And so you're actually no better off, and you've created even more costs for the entire system, and therefore created more potentiality for mistakes to be made. It's madness. But again, it's SNP. What do you expect? The whole idea was almost rendered pointless when Jeremy Hunt announced in 2023 spring statement that there would be support given with upfront childcare costs through universal credit. The civil servant even praised this in the briefing, writing, "The changes announced by UK Gov in relation to the upfront childcare costs are broadly positive and have the potential to address a key barrier for parents." It's actually one of the very, very few things that he's done that's been positive, to be fair to him. He's an awful bloody politician, an awful chancellor, but that is the one thing that he's done that was right. Officials will seek to support implementation of this change in Scotland through the framework and guidance proposed as part of the ongoing local employability partnership arrangements, and it was eventually scrapped in June 2023. But as I say, they didn't tell anyone because it would be looking like a failure. They scrap something, it's like, you announce it and scrap it. Oh no, that makes it look like we got something wrong. And they can't ever be wrong. And this is the problem when you've got these people that they're so tied up, they're so narcissist, they can't ever admit that they get something wrong. Did you talk to the government about doing it? No. Were you aware that there'd be implementation problems with regards to benefits? No. Why not? Because we're stupid. That's it. But that, because we're stupid, can apply to every policy they've ever announced, though, doesn't it? Anyway, Chris Burt of the Joseph Rowntree Foundation was damning in his criticism of the government. And by the government, he means the Scottish government. He said, in the Best Start's Right Future delivery plan, supporting parents into employment was seen as a good medium to long-term goal to help drive down the levels of child poverty. And we'd agree with that and encourage it. So it's deeply concerning to see those two areas being put to the side by the Scottish government, which keeps asking organisations such as ours where the solutions are. But now those solutions have been binned because the charities must realise the very low level of intelligence they're dealing with. Just remember, this is who you're dealing with. This is the level of what you have to work with. And she is so amazingly dim. It's frightening that she's even got into position of authority. I mean, truly, the lunatics are running the asylum. And like I say, she's only just a moron. One step down and she's cretinous. I'm finishing there and I'm coming up. Now, just to show that we don't just throw this channel together, later on there will be another video, this time about Shona Robinson, and it is of a similar vein. It's about how stupid these people are, that they think that nobody can understand the things that they don't understand. No, everybody understands things. It's just you're so stupid you don't understand it. Normal people are quite capable. but that is one for later. So do hit the subscribe button. You don't want to miss that one either. But there we go. Shirley-Anne Somerville, the world's stupidest politician, forced to very, very quietly scrap a policy because she knows it would be embarrassing if she came out and said, oh, we're scrapping this because I'm stupid. Well, what do you expect? I don't expect any better, and I don't think you do either. It's just the SNP way, isn't it? Announce, don't think, look stupid. Hey-ho. I'll round off there. Thank you very much for watching. Do please keep an eye out for the next few videos. There's some crackers coming up, I tell you now. So hit the subscribe button. Don't miss them. I will speak to you later, and I will, for now, say goodbye.